for our very first live Montessori conversation webinar. We're working on the name.
Yeah.
Here with me today is Deneen Goncalves. Deneen, how'd I do?
Good.
I feel like I've just got that down now.
I know, so you don't have to ask me anymore.
Yeah, I'm gonna stop because I feel really good. Deneen is our community manager. As you know, she's the heart of all things Nido and really sort of the only one that does any real work. Matt is the brain and the strategist, and I am the mouth because I like to talk. We're switching up the format. So a couple of things is these are now going to be kind of webinar based. We want to do a little bit more in the way of interactive sort of back and forth, right, Deneen? Like this feels just more personal.
Mm-hmm. Right. Well, and we have a good year of interactions and understanding, who we're working with, and I love that we're now able to, work off of that narrative and be able to speak to people more directly because we know what their life is like now. Before it was like speculating and kind of taking the information we had before, but now we're getting to know them much more. So I like this. This is more personal.
I do too. And the Montessori marketing method, which was our sort of, I don't know what curriculum for last year, it's complete. And so we wanted to figure out what we could do that would really serve the Montessori community. So what we're going to do with these calls is we have 4 categories, and we're going to rotate through those categories one every week. This might change. We want to be kind of flexible, but the first category is going to be Marketing 101. And that's our opportunity to bring to you what's working, what's not working, any changes that are being made. Nido is still a marketing-centric organization, so we always want to make sure that we're keeping marketing top of mind. So even though we feel like we have the core foundation of all things that we wanted to discuss in the marketing method curriculum, we still want to be able to give you, updates and ninja tricks and all that fun stuff. So topic number 1 is going to be Marketing 101. That will be next week on the 17th. Make sure to join us. And then topic number 2, which we'll be doing every 4 weeks, is going to be an Ask Me Anything with Matt, which I'm really excited about. And Deneen, you've done a few of those now. Those have been really successful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so many questions, and he's so honest. He's very candid, which is good. And if he doesn't know the answer, it's a great topic for conversation. So it's
I would challenge our listeners actually and our members to try to trip him up. Send Matt the hardest questions that you can. Just kidding. No, but I'm only half joking because he really is just such an amazing wealth of knowledge, and you would be shocked at what he knows and what he's able to come back with.
I have a question if he actually sleeps at night because I'm pretty sure he thinks about this stuff over and over.
Yeah, he's definitely on a 22-hour day.
Right.
I think he gets in a cat nap.
Yeah. So picking his brain is kind of entertaining.
Have you ever shot him an email? Here's a test for you. Shoot him an email and then wait, and like 14 minutes later, you're going to get a response no matter what time of day it is. It could be like midnight Christmas Eve, and you're going to get bam.
Although he is really good at prioritizing, so it kind of depends on what priority,
I must be a really high priority then.
Hey, can you talk about your Marketing 101 topics, though?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's such an important part that we offer to our members, just because it's, the ecosystem is always changing. And I know we've talked about this before, where Montessori schools, like, we have such a solid foundation of what we offer, but we're not always the greatest at messaging that and getting people in to understand what it is that we do. And also being competitive, like super competitive, and like kind of just knocking the competitors down the street off the block and showing everybody that Montessori is up front. So I think, that falls under Marketing 101, just things that we can support people in doing that.
Absolutely. One of the things I'm really excited about, to be honest with you, is sales coaching. I feel like we listen to every single phone call that's triggered by a Nido marketing initiative. And so we have a lot of recorded calls. And to put it lightly, I feel like our member base could use some sales coaching. Everybody's knowledgeable, polite, friendly, approachable, but there are just a few small nuanced things that I think we can do to start to really bring people further into the fold. And I know sales it's a dirty word in the word of Montessori, and I'm not supposed to use it often, but there is a point where we really are selling. We're selling education. We just happen to be selling a better form of education. And I think we can get better at that. So that'll be something that I'm rolling into the Marketing 101.
Oh, that'll be cool. That's exciting.
Yeah, I hopefully don't get anything thrown at me.
Well, I'll keep you in line.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
If you go
So
too, be like, no, this is we're not doing too fancy.
too far. Yeah, we're not cold calling people. So we've got the Marketing 101. Then we've got Matt's Ask Me Anything. And then the third category, which will be the third week, will be Deneen's Montessori Thought Leaders. And I think with this, Deneen, you said we're talking mostly about the Montessori message, right? Like how to communicate the message. Can you tell us more about what that's going to look like?
Well, that's my goal. And I don't know if it'll bring us through the whole year, but I'm just talking about specific topics that we have in the Montessori world. How do we work best with helping parents understand self-construction? What does that look like? What does that mean when we say that? What does the word normalization mean? And how can we bridge that gap of our language and their language? Because oftentimes Montessori language is very different from the general population. And we can kind of get into our worlds, like when we're in it, we're in it.
Yeah.
And sometimes and we also tend to attract people that are very similar to us that will eventually speak our same language. So then when we interact with people that don't have Montessori experience or know what it's about, we tend to get in our flow of explaining Montessori in the way that we know. So
Right.
I'm hoping to add some tips on how to bridge that and make our message maybe a little bit clearer and more approachable and accessible.
I love that. I'm going to be excited to be on those because I just feel like I'm going to learn so much that'll help us with, the marketing end of things.
Right. And it's a grand undertaking. I'm not saying I know everything about it, but I do have, experience in a lot of different areas in different industries. So it's kind of nice to think about how I can apply that to what we're doing here.
Absolutely. I think we're all guilty of that, by the way. I think everybody, once you know something so well and it's just ingrained in you, it's just so easy to kind of forget how little other people know. And so this is just a good reminder, and it's a great conversation for us to have.
Right. And, with what we offer in Montessori, it's very simple.
Mm-hmm.
It's just getting down to, the core of who a human is and how we can help that child develop into who they're supposed to be. And I think a lot of people understand, or at least agree with that part of it. It's just how do we then unfold all of those little pieces that are super important.
All right. That's awesome. That's exciting. And then week number 4 is going to be guest speakers. And we're going to be roping in the biggest, baddest guest speakers in the Montessori world that I'm really excited about. And I think these people will kind of span the spectrum. We're going to get some people from marketing for sure. But then I think we also want to talk to some head of schools and some, association members. Like who all do you anticipate here, Deneen? Who should we be looking forward to?
Yeah, I've already reached out to a couple of people. I would love to have a trainer.
Cool.
I would also love to have a guide or two, and maybe a parent, an alumni who's gone through the programs, maybe even a psychiatrist or a occupational therapist and what they see. So there's a whole array of people that we can reach out to. So I'm working on kind of booking them now, which, is kind of fun.
I really love the idea of an alumni. Like, how cool would that be to get the other end of the story?
Mm-hmm. I already know of a few that would be fantastic. They'd be fun to interview.
Oh, that's really exciting.
Yeah,
got my wheels turning. Awesome. So that's the plan. If you want to be a guest speaker, incidentally, please reach out to us. We'd love to have you on, or if you know somebody that you want us to reach out to, shoot us an email. You can always email us hello@nidomarketing.com, or just hit us up on live chat on the website. But this will be sort of the recurring schedule ongoing. We really wanted to switch it up and provide as much value as we could without sort of getting dry. I felt like we were scraping at the bottom of the barrel towards the end there on the marketing calls. Going over some of those applications, there's a value there for sure, but it just didn't feel like we were bringing as much as we were in the very beginning, where, there were just more meat on the bones of those topics.
Right. And just a reminder too, like all of our coaching calls are recorded and they're archived in our member section. So, we went back and forth, and do we revisit the topics that we talked about, or do we, move on to something else? And ultimately we ended up changing to what we are doing now. But if you still want to know more about, give me an example of one of the best coaching calls we've had. Do you remember?
Yeah, I think the content schedule call was one of my favorites. I just felt like it was just pile driving value. And we had really good comments and really good feedback later, and other people followed up on it. It just, I feel like it did really well.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're trying to figure out like how to create a content schedule, we go back to that one. And then if you have questions or there's something like, hey, I really wish you would have talked more about this, then we can touch on that in the year two.
Mhm. Yeah, and we want to make these calls more and more interactive. And you've done a really good job championing that, Deneen. I think you've
I don't know about that, but thanks.
yeah, well, we keep at it. So those are the new coaching call schedules. We might release a schedule at some point once we have more of the topics solidified. But until then, what will happen is our members are going to get an email at the beginning of every week, just letting you know what's to come, and you'll start to get used to kind of our cadence and our narrative. I wanted to go over our 2019 changes. Is that a good transition? Can I segue?
Yeah, absolutely. It's good
Because
stuff.
we changed a lot. First of all, we're a year old, which is so much fun to say. And I forget the statistic, but it's something absurd. Like 80% of all businesses don't make it past their first year or two. And I don't know. It's pretty cool that we've gotten to where we've gotten. We've made the impact that we've made, and really appreciate all of our members, especially some of our founding members, for taking a chance on Nido. So I won't, go off and jump on a soapbox, but I just want to really say thank you to everyone that is a Nido member, because you're the reason that we're here. So from the bottom of our hearts, thanks for taking a shot. And I'm so happy that it's been as successful as it has.
Right, absolutely. And also just getting all the feedback from everyone, and the stories that they tell us and the things that they share with us, that's helped us move forward in making these changes and kind of fine tuning what we're able to offer and make sure that we're able to reach more schools. So
Absolutely.
that's exciting.
Well, and that's a good segue too. We want to reach more schools. So if you have somebody to refer to us that you think would benefit from our services, please do. We're offering, I think, a really awesome incentive. If you refer somebody that signs up, we will match their sign up level with your first month. So if somebody signs up at the fourth plane, then you'll get that first month amount as a credit. And if you're a second plane member, then that means you might get the second plane free for quite some time. So we're trying to incentivize people as much as possible to send that email if you think that it will be helpful. And on that note, we've actually dropped the price of the fourth plane. So the fourth plane used to be $1,500 ish. It was $1,497, and we dropped it to $997, which is just a really significant discount. Now, I don't want to call it a discount because we also removed some of the services in order to kind of make sure that we could make ends meet. But you're getting the vast majority of what was a part of the fourth plane for significantly less money. And to all of our existing members, if you're on the fourth plane before the change, you are paying the lower rate, but you're still getting everything that you signed up for. And that's just us saying thank you so much for trusting us and signing up early. But I'm really excited about this. I think this is going to help us reach more schools, and it makes the fourth plane more approachable because it's been our most successful plane. We've helped some schools grow pretty significantly, I think, Deneen. We're writing case studies on this now, right?
Right. Yeah, we've got another one coming. Although that one is more about content, which I'm super excited about. So that, in addition to Google AdWords, which I know is like, that's our top thing, content, I don't think anybody else is offering content in the way that we do, which is exciting because imagine not having to worry about all those blogs and have them scheduled for you, have your social posts scheduled for you. So then that education piece that we all worry about is just taken care of. And so you can truly focus on having a great tour with your prospective families and being able to meet with them and talk about Montessori without feeling like, you've got to block off so much time to do that writing, because usually that ends up not happening because you've got a billion other things to do.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to our Google AdWords, I think the content piece is huge.
Absolutely agreed. And we have who I think is just one of the best content writers on the planet. Christy has been so amazing. What she produces is just, it's so impressive that she can just come up with that stuff. I've really been blown away.
Right. And to watch her grow too the past year,
Yeah.
See how her content has really evolved, and she's listening to the feedback we're getting from members and what type of topics they want to hear. And, every time she delivers, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, she really does. That's another note for our members too, is if there's anything that you want, there's a specific topic that you feel like would really serve you, let us know, because chances are it'll serve the entire Montessori community, and we will put that into Christy's writing queue. She's always writing a month ahead. So when you make these requests, And just know that that's our schedule, and it might take us some time, but we're here to help you. And on that happy note, I'm actually really excited to announce our newest service offering. Actually, Deneen, do you want to announce it since I do most of the talking? Since I'm
No, this is kind of your but thanks for giving me the option.
We're offering unlimited graphic design to our fourth plane members. So this came from one of our calls with one of our members, and they said, "Hey, we really need help." I forgot what it was. It might have been a brochure or a postcard or a social post, but they said, "We really want you to help design this thing." And it was relatively easy for us to get done. We've got 2 graphic designers on staff already, and they're not always as busy as they can or should be. And so we thought, gosh, we could do that. And after some internal discussion, we decided that one of the things we wanted to add to the fourth plane that would be easy for us to provide, but a massive amount of value to our schools, is graphic design. So if you want something created, if you want a postcard created, banner, billboard, page, social post, anything that's not like a full-blown web design, we can't necessarily go that far. We're not going to do like a new logo or branding or any of those things, but just a general sort of asset, like, hey, I could really use an infographic here, or whatever it ends up being. We sent out an email this week with a link to a form that you can fill out, and it's only to our fourth plane members, but for our fourth plane members, you can fill out that form, and we will create just about anything you want, and you can have as many of those as you want in queue. Excuse me. Or you can do as many of those as you want, but we ask that we only have one in queue at a time. So unlimited just means that we're not going to cap you, but it's not as though we can create 500,000 images tomorrow.
Right. So people can use this for like open house flyers, right? Or annual fund drives, or Facebook banners. Is that's
Absolutely. Those are much better examples than I had too. Thank you.
But that's super valuable for people, because I imagine that many of our schools use an external source, or they find that's able to do it for them. And so that's a great offer for sure.
Well, and there are things that I don't think it occurs to people to design. For instance, I've noticed, because the tuition rates are one of our primary lead magnets. So I've noticed when people send me a PDF of their tuition rates, they could benefit from a designer looking at it and reformatting the way that it's presented, and some of the design elements. Like, design doesn't need to be a whole-blown image. You can actually design content, you can stylize content. And so if you wanted us to design the PDF that you send out as your tuition rates, fire it down. We'd be happy to do that.
Yeah, beautify it a little bit.
Yeah, beautify. That's a great word. Just wanted to go over some of our other updates, but I don't want to dive into the minutia. We did remove some of the services from the fourth plane that I already discussed. You can check the website for that. And I guess the last thing I should bring up here is we want to streamline our communication for our members. So the feedback we got from our third and our fourth plane members is the regular calls. We were doing a monthly call that was, I won't call it mandatory per se, but we strongly encouraged it. And it ended up being kind of cumbersome from a time perspective, and also just like the scheduling, like the managerial process that goes into that. So what we've done instead, to save you the time, is we're going to send out a form with your reports every single month. And when you get the reports, if you have questions, you can ask them, but we just ask you to fill out the form, and the form gives us all the information that we know, or that we need. So we can get the same information from you that we were going to get on the call, but we can do it without, occupying your calendar. And then if you want to meet, then we can absolutely accommodate that, and you'll have a little link to our Calendly in the form, but that will be kind of on an as needed basis. Deneen, how did I do with that? Anything I missed?
Yeah, no, I think the reason behind this is just we didn't want to interrupt your day. I felt that way,
Yeah.
and it felt, which doesn't feel good, because then we're rushed on both sides. So to get the information that we can through a form at your leisure, I think it's a quick way to do it, which is nice. And we just stay in contact and make sure we're getting the updates from our members that we need in order to make the adjustments to your campaigns.
Absolutely. I'm really excited about that too. I think it's just going to make it, and honestly, it makes it more scalable for us, which is pretty cool.
Right.
I'm pulling up, we have a case study for Arbor Montessori. It's on our blog. I would love for everybody to read it, because we're going to be producing a lot of these, hopefully, because we have a lot of really, I think, amazing successes. But Arbor was one that stood out. We were on a call with them, and they just had really great feedback, just as far as how much we've helped them grow. And so we created this case study that shows um, kind of I think it's a 4 or 5 month view into their Google Ads success and where they started and where they ended up. And what I love about this case study is it's not all sunshine and rainbows. It does a really good job of managing expectations and showing this is really hard in the beginning, but it gets easier. And even then, any type of marketing or advertising, it's like a stock ticker. It's not going to just be a straight shot up and everything gets better and better and better. Instead, you're going to notice there will be, some good months, some bad months. You might have a new competitor enter the space. You might have parents that stop searching. You might have just a local economic change that impacts things. And so it's helpful to have a team like Nido there. And I think we can get better at pushing that narrative too a little bit, because I don't know that we are always our own best cheerleaders. And so I just think this case study is something that I wanted to highlight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Arbor is, they're in a very competitive ecosystem.
Oh yeah.
So it's, it was challenging in that we needed to understand it, but also, their team is ready. They're ready to just hit the button when we need to. So that's really helpful in the process of it being successful. And that they trust us too in what we're doing, which is really nice.
Yeah, that's awesome to have. I'm just checking our comments here, Denise. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything on Facebook. And then do you want to talk about the webinar that we're creating?
Yeah, it's so exciting. So I know that we've been talking about it for a while. We've been hinting here and there. And we've put a lot of thought into it. What we're going to do is offer a webinar that explains the basic elements or the important elements that we want in our children to be able to, be successful in this crazy world. And as Montessorians, we know those things. We know them really well, and we can speak about them. But when we talk to someone that doesn't know Montessori or is, knows very little about it, if we don't hone in on those specific things, we can kind of turn them off. So the webinar is meant to be a kind of cast a wide net in explaining the things that children need. It's called Preparing Our Children for a Changing World. And ultimately, what we're wanting to do is keep this about 15 or 20 minutes. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
We talk too much, so we have to hone in on that. And
our first crack at it was 1 hour and 10 or something. It was really long.
Actually, it was way too long. But we're going to use this and offer it to our members as a lead magnet. So you can use that to bring in prospective parents and have them kind of understand the basic elements that you're trying to produce in your school.
And this is one of the ways that we anticipate trying to help fix Facebook for our members. Most of you already know Facebook has seen a pretty significant decline in performance. I think it has a lot to do with the major changes that happened to Facebook after the congressional hearing. They've changed what we're allowed to target with. They've changed what segmentation is available. And we're still getting leads. The issue with them, though, is they're very poor quality. It feels kind of like batch and blast. You're just getting whoever happens to run across your ads, where in the past it was very focused. And so what I like about this webinar is if we present the webinar first, anybody who watches the webinar then becomes, if they've watched the entire thing, I think it kind of proves in a way, and Deneen, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a mission appropriate person. So I don't just want opt-ins, which is what we're getting now. And we can make it rain opt-ins. We get a $1 a lead if we wanted to, but that doesn't help a school because now you're just sifting through contexts that are never going to be mission appropriate. So instead, we're having them opt into the webinar. And then if they watch the entire webinar, then it stands to reason, okay, here's a person who's engaged. They spent 15 to 20 minutes of their time. I know they're a parent. I know they're in my area. And now I know my message resonates with them. And so hopefully this kind of helps improve Facebook's performance over time. This is a step in that direction anyway.
Right. And the hope is too that our members will create an email nurture after that can support what that messaging is that's unique to their school.
Absolutely. We'll have a template created that, just like our current email nurture, that'll be fill in the blanks. Yeah, I'm really excited about that.
Yeah. Soon. We'll get it done soon.
Yeah, I think we'll be done before the end of the month. Agree, disagree?
No, I totally agree. We will.
Okay. Yeah.
It's gonna happen.
Done. We're committed. And that's all I have from a topic perspective. This was just like the, getting back into the swing of things, State of the Union. Next week is when we'll dive into our recurring schedule. But if for our live listeners, either on Easy Webinar or Facebook. If you have any questions, now's the time. Otherwise, we do this every single week. It's every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific, 1:30 p.m. Eastern. And we're just here to bring value to the Montessori community. Deneen, anything that I missed?
No, but what is our topic next week?
What is our topic? Oh, we're doing the Marketing 101.
Okay, awesome.
Oh, you mean what is our marketing topic?
We're talking about marketing 101. Do you know?
I should have come prepared with that information. Yeah. Honestly, I've put zero thought to it. I've got some ideas here that you and I went over, and the one that resonates most is honestly the one that's first on the list. It's why online leads are fickle and what we can do about it.
Mm-hmm.
Online leads, and this is ubiquitous, but I think it's especially true with our parents. They're used to instant gratification. Online now, I mean, I buy something from Amazon and they have it back to my house same day. It's unbelievable. So if somebody fills out a form or calls you or downloads tuition rates or asks a question, they just expect to get an immediate response. And if they don't, it's not even that you're disappointing them at all. It's that they don't remember who you are. And we've had members tell us that often. You know, hey, I called these people and, you know, they filled out the form 2 days ago and they don't even remember filling out the form, which is an issue. So what we're going to talk about next week is what causes some of that fickleness and how we can mitigate it, because I think we can do that too. And then also some of the things that are just incumbent upon us to realize we need a paradigm shift. You know, if we're not getting back to the people that are contacting us that day, that's a significant issue that we need to solve. And there's some, I think I'll call them pro tips that I have that can help solve some of those issues. So how's that sound for a topic? Did I do okay?
Really, throw in some sales stuff in there too.
Yeah, we absolutely should. I'm going to make a note to do that right now, actually, now that you said that.
Cool. Well, that'll be good. And then after that is Matt's, or is that one mine?
Yep. Then it's on the 24th. We're doing Matt's Ask Me Anything. And those are always great. So I imagine we'll have good participation there. And we're also uploading all of these to YouTube. So, you know, hopefully we get a little bit of public play and SEO benefit and all that good stuff.
Cool. All right. I'm excited. Well, welcome back. Happy 2019.
Yeah. Happy 2019. It's going to be a good one.
Cool.
Awesome. Thanks, Deneen.
All right. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.